Hi and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're going to work on the Whirlpool Cabrio, the newer model. So if you're getting the error code FOE5F7E5, more likely it's going to be due to the shifter. So if you open up your machine and you turn it with your hand, or if it sounds like a jet engine when it spins, more likely you have these error codes or one of them, and this is your problem. So watch this video towards the end. It can save you a lot of money. So in this video we're going to show you how to remove the wash plate, the gear case, and the clutch assembly without removing the tub. So first thing you want to do is unplug it, and then you will remove this top cover with a flathead. It's like a little, just press in and pry, it'll pop right off. And then I believe this is 7/16 counterclockwise to remove the bolt. You can use a hand tool, a crescent wrench, or a drill, totally up to you. So as you can see here, 7/16, if you can see that. So as you can see, my drill was not strong enough, so I'm just going to add this 1/4 to my crescent wrench and just add the extension, and then I'll just hit it with a heavier tool, heavier object. I recommend a hammer if you have one, and then you can just tap it. So now since it's loose enough, I'll just finish the rest with my drill since it's loosened up. So now we're going to remove the rotor. So this is it, and this is a 10mm bolt we'll eventually get to remove the gear case. So this is a start bit. I recommend just having a kit with different sizes. I don't know the exact size for this one. So it's one bolt counterclockwise, and then we'll just pull down the rotor. It is magnetic, so just kind of wiggle it back and forth until you can pull it completely off and just put it somewhere on the side. So this rotor actually slides into the gear case shaft itself, as you can see there. So that's how that connects with the gear shaft. So to remove this clutch in motor, we have, I believe they're millimeter size bits. They're not, it's not a 1/4 as it looks like a 1/4. So disconnect the harness here. First thing you want to do, you should already have this thing unplugged. So this is a 10mm. I'm going to remove this one bolt, which it does connect to the wire and harness that connects to the gear case. This way I can remove everything. So yeah, just as you can see here, let me finish removing it. Here we go. And this is only one I'm going to remove from the get-go. The other ones I'll keep on until I'm ready to remove the gear case itself. So this is a slider, and it actually goes in between the clutch itself. This is what hits the inner clutch, which makes that crazy noise. It comes as a kit, and then it has a little piece here. It's like a little clip that holds everything inside the clutch itself. So you'll have to remove the old one off, the old one, the old part, I guess. And this is a new one. I will show you how to remove it, and then I'll give you an idea how to install the new one. So to remove this clip, you have to slide in between at an angle and then separate it. So you'll see, just make sure you don't hit the motor on the right, the winding, but you'll see I'm trying to slide up in between it to separate it, as you saw in the new part. And once I can get in between it, I can kind of pry it out and work my way around. And I'll come around and just pry down, and there we go. Just take your time and make sure you don't cut your fingers with the flathead. But that's pretty much it, and then everything else will just come down after you remove that clip. Just make sure you remember exactly how to put it back together, and I will reverse this part so you'll know. But this is actually where it's rubbing. As you can see here, this is that crazy sound you're hearing. This looks fine, but then you can see this. So that's why it's making that crazy jet engine sound, I guess you would say. So that's where the slider sits in. It goes in here, the inner clutch, and they basically just hit each other, and that's why it makes that crazy sound. So now we're going to remove the stator and the clutch. I forgot the exact size to remove these screws. No, it's not a 1/4, it's smaller than that. But yeah, just remove the stator motor screws first, and then once we do that, it actually, and another thing, the motor won't drop, the stator motor won't drop here. I'll show you once I remove the last one. The clutch is also screwed into the gear case too, which is connected to the stator motor. So let me show you. So see, if I try to yank down now, it's not going to come. I got to remove these inner ones too that connects to the clutch, or goes through the clutch, and this actually connects to the gear case too. So definitely though, before you remove the last one on this one, to hold everything, because it will fall. So you can see here, let me get a better angle, where the slider was grinding against the clutch. If you can see, if I can get a better angle. It's kind of dark. There we go, right there. So as you can see, it's warped. So that tells me the gear case is warped too. So that's why I'm replacing everything. But as you can see there, that's where it's hitting. So now I'm going to remove the agitator. You can just grab and yank up on it. If it's kind of hard to pull out, you can actually put water in a tub, and it'll kind of loosen it up enough. But sometimes you can take a clothes hanger too and pull down the holes on the side and yank up. But just have a little patience. As you can see, it'll come up. So now we're going to take the spinner wrench, and has 4 little grooves that connects into this lock ring. It actually holds the tub down into place. So you'll just line it up, and then you can take a hammer and hit it counterclockwise to loosen. I try to use my wire cutters here, which are pretty heavy, but they don't do the job. So as you'll see in a moment, I actually use a hammer, which is way easier. So now since it's loosened, we can just do the remainder with ourselves, and then we'll remove the lock ring, and this way we can actually hit down this shaft to loosen up the gear case under here. Now let's remove the 10mm bolts. So to get this gear case out the bottom, you got to hit down on this shaft. I tried to use my spinner wrench, but it wasn't strong enough, so I actually had to get a 2x4, well, if that's what you want to call this thing, but You can get something a little smaller, but hit straight down on the shaft itself and then it'll flat until it's flush with the tub. Just make sure not to hit the tub because you could crack it. So to make this easier, I would definitely just get a 2x4 and a sledgehammer. So now since the gear case is loose, we can just pull it straight out. Also, you want to make sure you wipe this down, this residue, oily grease, whatever you want to call it, on the inner tub before you install the new one. And that way you can make sure the seal is nice and tight on the sides where nothing's going to get in its way. So you'll take this off the old one and put it on the new one. This is where you connect the harnesses. Also, if you do need parts, I will leave a link in the description below. And if you have any questions, just leave in comments below. I will try to answer, but I cannot always get to all of them. So like I stated a minute ago, you want to make sure that all this is cleaned up well because you don't want to put the new gear case in with the seal, I guess you would, yeah, well, obviously the seal. This tub seal has to be flush and you don't want no type of debris. If you don't have this super clean or as clean as possible, when you put in this gear case and if it doesn't seal up right, you can have a leak that can leak down to the floor. So just make sure you take your time and clean it up well. So now we're going to slide in the gear case. The white part in the back of the gear case always goes towards the rear of the washer, and then you'll just slide it up as evenly as possible. And then once you put it in there, you'll kind of wiggle it back and forth as you press up. So you do have to put a little bit of pressure as you wiggle it back and forth. You just have to get it up enough where you can put in the 10mm bolts. But there is a certain way you have to screw this into the bottom of the tub because if you do it wrong, it can actually mess up the tub itself. So we'll just keep on pressing up until we get it close enough to connect the 10mm bolts to the tub. So just to give you a close-up view, this is the seal that I was speaking of earlier where you have to clean the sides and make sure you have no type of debris in between. So we do have a little bit to go, so I'm going to press up and wiggle some more until I can get close enough to the tub. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually pressing, keeping constant pressure against this gear case, and I'm twisting it left and right slowly but surely. This way I'm getting that tub seal up into the inner tub. So now I'm close enough to connect this 10mm bolt through the gear case to the tub. But I do not want to just do one side at once. I want to evenly do it a little bit on each side. As you'll see here in a moment, I'll just get it started here with my drill. And I'm just going to go up enough just to connect it to the tub. But I'm not going to tighten it up all the way. 10 millimeter. So when I put this into place, I want to press it up into the inner tub evenly. So I'm just going to go a little bit there. Then I'm going to put one here, just enough to hold it. And as you will see, I'll go to each corner. This way I can keep everything even and flush as I press it up. I'm not going to be able to press this gear case up with my hand. So I'm going to use these screws to do it. So now since I have all four in, I'm going to go corner to corner and just go a little bit at a time. Not all at once, but just a little bit at a time. That way I can make sure it's evenly going up into the tub. You kind of have to eyeball it yourself to see which side is more down than the other. But you just want to use this to kind of press this gear case up into the tub evenly. At the end, I will use a crescent wrench, excuse my language, until I get it nice and snugged. So another reason I'm using this crescent wrench is because when I put this or snug this up, I don't want to use a high powered drill, because if I keep on if I over drill, I can basically just loosen up the hole itself that connects this gear case into the inner tub, and then everything will be stripped and loose, if that makes sense. So I'm using this just to work each corner, and then once I get to the point where it's nice and snugged and it's really not moving no more with my hand strength, then I know I'm ready to go. So now it looks like everything is nice and flush and welly snugged on, I would say. I'm using my hand strength. I did have to go back and forth with my drill a little bit because I just wasn't up enough. But now I'm just kind of using my own strength as a torque wrench, I guess you would say, so I don't strip it. So as you can see now, the tub is still up from the shaft. So now we have to put this tub over the shaft and place it on top of the shaft. But this can be actually a little difficult sometimes. So this is the gear case part number, by the way. If you do need that, like I said, it's in the description below with the clutch. Here's the clutch part number, OEM parts, and then the slider. So this goes into the stator motor. So let me show you how to remove this. So the clutch has its own wire and harness. You will have to remove this from this little has little clips where it connects into the stator motor. Just remove that, and then you have this metal harness here. So not a harness, but metal. We'll call it support for the harness. But we want to clip this off. So instead of me doing all this extra work, I'm still going to actually remove the harness from the clutch, and then just that way we can just put the new harness into the same one here. So to remove this, you can just take a flathead. Just be careful. Sometimes you can cut your thumb if it slips, and then you'll just press in, pry down type thing. So you'll put the stator on top of the clutch. It can kind of only go in one way, and then you'll run the harness through the top or just underneath it, and then you'll connect it to the stator. Just clip it on the same way you clipped it off, and then you'll just connect that white harness to the little metal plate. So as you probably remember, these screws go into the gear case for the clutch and the stator motor. So it goes through here, and then it connects to the gear case right here. So before we install the stator motor, we're going to make sure we put our ground wire back. Now when installing the stator motor and clutch, you want to make sure that the sticker is actually pointing down towards you. And then you want to line up the harness where it connects to the white clip in the back of the gear case. I believe it can only go in one way, but just keep an eye on it. And to hold this into place, you're actually going to screw in the clutch first into the gear case. So once those are all nice and snug, we're going to do the same thing with the stator motor. We're going to install the 3 screws. So once you install the 3 screws for the stator motor, we're going to install the new slider. I had to use the beginning clip of the video and reverse it because for some reason I can't find the footage, but this way it can give you a visual of how to install it. So this is the old one. As you can see, it's torn up, so we'll show you how to reinstall it to see if it was the new one. You'll put that first, and then you'll grab the, I guess you'll call it a spring. That'll go next, which will hold that into place. And then you'll have this clip that has to be clipped in. As you can remember, you had to slide it off. It has a groove around the gear case. You have to press it up in. So kind of the same way you took it off, you have to put it on. It's actually easier to put on than take off. And obviously having a new piece, being this is the old footage, old parts. So don't forget to install the stator motor, put it back into place, and install the star bit and screw. So this is the error code we had, F9E2, and I'm going to put this in diagnostic mode. I actually will leave a video at the end of this video if you want to check it out, how to put it in diagnostic mode. I'm just going to put water in a tub so I can slowly but surely get the basket over the shaft itself. And you can actually just pour water into the tub if you like. It may be easier. This is a service manual too. You can actually find this up under the display. So I'm putting water in the tub to try to make it easier for the inner tub to slide down over the shaft, just in case the tub itself has some type of debris that wouldn't allow it to slide over the shaft easily. It really didn't work for me, so I actually had to hit it down with a 2x4. Well, you'll see in a moment. So I had to tap it down on the side where the metal is on the inner tub. Definitely get a smaller 2x4 and maybe a sledgehammer would make it a little bit easier, but this way I can slide the inner tub over the shaft. So I just had to get it down enough where I can twist on this inner tub lock. And this way then I can come with my spinner wrench, and then I can use the hammer to go clockwise, and this will actually compress the tub into the shaft. So now having that locked down into place, I will now reinstall the top wash plate or agitator. So you'll just slide this over the shaft and then reinstall the 10 millimeter bolt. Actually, my bad, it says 7/16. So as you can see now, when you spin the inner tub, it doesn't make no more grinding sounds. So now let's go ahead and give it a test run. So this is how you put it in diagnostic mode, a little quick example. So you hit 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you'll hit the error code, or any error code will display it first. Hit the second button, and then you'll hit this one to go to test 0. Hit start, that'll lock the door. And then we'll go to number 1, press start, that'll turn the cold water on. So I'm going to fill this up so then we can do an agitation test mode. And agitation test mode, I believe it's 14. Hit start. And then the shifter will shift, and then it will agitate. So this shows that it is shifting correctly. Then we'll go to test. Oh, we got to drain the water out. So this will be test 7 or 8. Hit start. This will drain the water out. You have to drain the water out before you spin it. And then the next test we're going to do is going to be the spin test. So once all the water is out, we'll go to test 12, hit the start button, and then it will shift and it will start to spin. And this way you can make sure everything is sounding well and so forth. You can also let it spin for a little bit to catch up, get up to speed, I would say, to do a thorough check. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions, just leave in comments below, and please like and subscribe for more future tips and videos. And thank you, and have a good one. Bye bye.